So the Lakers barely beat Utah last night, and I want to give some attention to what LeBron James said after the game. He stated that it was just a matter of time before the Lakers start knocking down those shots. They had a bunch of wide open shots, and they just missed them. And when I was watching the game, I was thinking the same thing. The Lakers had a bunch of wide open shots, and they did just miss them. But that's a fact, but it's not really the truth. The truth is, when you have an offense in which a handful of players so dominate the ball, then you need to have players whose role, their strict role, is to catch the ball, and when they catch the ball, and when the ball comes to them, they knock down the three, or they knock down whatever wide open shot they got. Usually it's a three. But you need to have players that are suited to do that, and the Lakers don't have players that are suited to do that. So LeBron thinks the stats are going to come back around. I'm not 100% sure that the stats come back around like he thinks they're going to. Now, when you play a team like Utah, you might could get away with that. But when you play better teams and those stats don't come around, all of a sudden you have a glaring deficiency. And I think that's what the Lakers need to be very careful of. And, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this goes back to J.J. Redick and whatever offense he installs. If he installs an offense in which you basically have LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves conducting a three-man weave until one of them gets the mismatch or whatever the hell, and so that they could go one-on-one, man, you got to have players that are built to stand in the corner, receive the kick out, and knock down that shot. And I don't think the Lakers have that. The Lakers don't have a John Paxson. They don't have a Steve Kerr. They don't have a B.J. Armstrong. If you guys don't know, those are the three guys that sat around the perimeter and waited for that kick out from Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, or Tony Kukoc. Those are the three guys who sat around, and when they got the ball, they knocked it down. We got one guy who I think is like that. That's Rui. Rui is like that. Rui fits this team really well because he's built like that. I don't know that we have any other players that are built like that. Jake LaRavia ain't that. Marcus Smart ain't that. You could say Gabe Vincent is that. Gabe Vincent is that. Thing is, though, Gabe Vincent ain't getting but 15, 20 minutes a game. Even Don't Connect is not that. Don't Connect is more than that. Don't Connect needs a hot ball. He don't need a cold ball. And if you guys don't understand what I mean by that, there's a certain energy that goes into the ball depending on what kind of offense you're running. The offense that the Lakers ran last night, it was a cold ball. Those guys weren't expecting to receive the ball. They weren't expecting to touch the ball on an offensive possession. If it got kicked out to them, then, hey, I got this cold ball now. I wasn't necessarily expecting it. See, a hot ball you expect to get. A cold ball you don't. And last night, as opposed to the game before, and especially in the second half, the game before, where LeBron there was so much energy in the ball. Last night there was no energy in the ball. Now, you got to talk about LeBron. LeBron got to get in shape. I'm not faulting him for that. He's been out for a long time. Dude's 60 years old. But he has to get in shape. Even with that, he had, what did he have? 17 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. It's a good game, especially for a quote-unquote maybe third option. Second or third 2A or 2B option, considering what Austin Reeves is now. But LeBron has to get in shape. I mean, literally after 2 minutes, you could see that dude was winded. He was not getting back. He was cherry picking. Yeah, did they get some points out of the cherry pick? Yeah, they did. But still, he was cherry picking. He's got to get back. He is a huge deficiency. Don't get me wrong. He's a net positive. But he is a huge deficiency because of his conditioning. And, that's going to come with time. Right? The other thing that we have to give attention to is the fact that DeAndre Ayton was clearly not himself last night. I mean, from the opening tip, he was not himself last night. And I heard he was sick. Maybe he was weak. I don't know. But for whatever reason, he was not himself last night. And I think that we need to start recognizing his value to the team. Because this record that we have right now, in my opinion, Luka ain't good enough to get us there. Austin Reeves and Luka aren't good enough to get us there. But when you have Austin Reeves, Luka, and a 2010 center in the middle, that makes us good enough to get there. And that was the importance of DeAndre Ayton. And he was out last night, and we really felt it. We really felt it. But we got the win. So I'm not tripping about that. JJ Redick. Respect to JJ Redick. That dude is starting. Look, man, he's recognizing. And he's recognizing, I could tell he don't give a shit. He recognizes the value of a big man on the court. So when DeAndre Ayton went out, they put in Jackson Hayes. And they let Jackson Hayes play. Jackson Hayes did well. He was serviceable last night. That's all you could ask for from a backup center. And then when Jackson Hayes went out, he did not go small. He put in Maxi Kleber. And Maxi Kleber, I was very shocked. Because one, that dude is big and strong now. And see, I seen him in the past and he looked a little bit flabby. He looked big and strong, actually blocking shots and intimidating and active. Yo, that dude has value. But again, we don't see that value if JJ Redick is on his dumb shit from last year. We saw the value because JJ Redick grew from the dumb shit he was on last year. And he played Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber did well. Again, serviceable. And if you got serviceable centers and you got Austin Reeves, Luka, and LeBron, then I believe you're going to be okay. So respect to JJ Redick and respect for playing Maxi Kleber. Then respect for Maxi Kleber for coming in and actually doing a good job. He did a good job. This team is still acclimating to one another. Again, you cannot add a big piece like LeBron James to any team and expect to just hit the ground running. It's going to take a minute. What we saw in the second half against Utah at home, the previous game, was ideally what this Laker team could be. But this Laker team is going to have to find a balance. When you got Luke on the court, it's not necessarily the best offense, you guys. It's not. We have the best offensive player in the NBA, in my opinion, but it's not necessarily the best offense. And that's okay. I've seen years where Luka is the closest comp to Jordan I've ever seen. And a lot of people will say, well, Jordan never passed like Luka. Yeah, you're right. I'll give you that. But the way those two dominate or have the ability to dominate a game, dominate the whole effing game, where the whole game starts and stops with them, it's uncanny. What put those Bulls over these Lakers is the fact that Phil Jackson instituted the triangle offense. And in the triangle offense, it governed what Jordan was allowed to do. It governed how long Jordan was allowed to hold the ball. He got as many shots, but he was only allowed to hold the ball for a certain amount of time because the system dictated that. And that's the biggest difference right now. And the last leg of JJ Redick's growth is going to be him instituting a system that governs how long Luka Doncic can hold the ball. Because I think JJ Redick knows, we got a problem here. This offense don't look right. JJ Redick is a baller. He's been around. He's played in the NBA all his life. He's been in basketball. And he's got to recognize that as great as Luka is, and dare I say he's the best player in the world right now, but as great as he is, the dude has flaws. And you have to build around those flaws. He's not great in the same sense that Magic Johnson was great. In the same sense that Tyrese Halliburton is great. He's great in a different sense. But you have to, because he's so great, you have to accommodate your coaching to Luka Doncic. Now, speaking of Luka, the dude has to get more efficient. He has to get more efficient. If he could get, I think last night he was 8 for 24. I can't remember what he was, but it was his numbers were not great last night. But if that dude, he was 10 for 24. It's not good, but Lakers won, and they're still acclimating to one another. And when you have him, he went 3 for 12 from 3. Austin Reeves went 1 for 8 from 3. Now, Luka is going to improve on that. Austin Reeves may not improve on that, depending on how he's being played. So, with that being said, JJ Redick, the biggest takeaway is JJ Redick is going to have to institute an offense that kind of lets Luka do Luka and be Luka. At the same time, it gets everybody involved and gets more energy in the ball. If that happens, then the Lakers will knock down those shots that LeBron James is speaking of. If it doesn't happen, then the Lakers will not knock down those shots that LeBron James is speaking of. Because the Lakers did have good looks, wide open looks, but there is no guarantee that we have the players that make those wide open looks. They're not built like... You guys tell me, do you guys think our players are built to knock down wide open shots? And the players that we play, in my opinion, have provided very little to no proof that they are built to knock down those wide open shots. Maxi Kleber played last night. Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart. Those guys aren't built like that. Gabe Vincent, yes, he's built like that. I don't necessarily think Austin Reeves is a wide open jump shooter. What you see Austin Reeves do is get into a rhythm. He tries to get himself going. You see him doing that throughout the course of a game. But JJ Redick should have a system that implicitly gets all the players going. And that was the beauty of the triangle offense. If he could go back to Princeton, if Princeton is still running that shit, he needs to go back there, grab one of their assistant coaches and say, hey man, come in and teach this shit to us. And this is what we run. If the Lakers do that, and LeBron James gets in shape, and DeAndre Ayton is on the court, they're a championship caliber team. What we saw last night was not a championship caliber team. But the Lakers got the potential to be a championship caliber team. And in my opinion, right, when you look at Oklahoma City, the only difference is coaching. That's the difference. No one could tell me from top to bottom Oklahoma City is better or quote unquote that much better than the Lakers are. So what's the difference? It's the coaching. It's the system. And again, this is not a shit on JJ Redick thread. It's not. JJ Redick has grown. He just has to grow a little bit more. All right, y'all. This is Pure Uncut Lakers. Please like and subscribe. I'll hit you next time.